Hi, I'm Jennifer Lawson, and I'm the Jameson Cell Technology Manager at Glencore Technology. Today, I'll be talking to you about Jameson Cell Technology. We'll discuss why it was developed, its fundamental operation, and how it can be used to improve your existing operations or make your future operations cheaper, easier to run and maintain. So let's go. The Jameson Cell was jointly developed by Laureate Professor Graham Jameson and the Mount Isa Mines team. The original scope of the collaboration was to improve the sparger design of the existing columns. They found that the spargers wore out, which meant that the bubbles got big and the columns lost all productivity. So Graham commented this process seemed very inefficient to need so much contact time, and he set about finding a better way of contacting particles and bubbles. The result of this collaboration was the development of the Jameson Cell. Its first commercial installation, the one pictured, the downcomer cell is where the bubbles and particles collide, and this makes the process very fast, efficient, as it's contact-based, not time-based. Since first inception, Glencore has continued to develop the cell for over 2 years, and now we're on our Mark V design. With over 350 cells installed worldwide across many applications and many different minerals. The photo shown in this slide shows the original cells installed in the lead slime circuit at Mount Isa. Each of the 2 little Jameson cells treats the same volume as each of the columns. And this gives you a good indication of the significant reduction in size of the Jameson Cell. So let's get right into the operating principle, the heart of the Jameson Cell, the downcomer. So essentially you're pumping slurry through an orifice or a nozzle, and you're pumping that at high and constant velocity of about 15 to 17 meters per second, which means the distributor feed pressure is around 130 to 170 kPa, which is typical that you would find in a cyclopack. The jet that's created flowing through the nozzle creates a vacuum which allows air to be naturally aspirated from the atmosphere and causes the slurry to rise up inside the downcomer once the hydraulic seal is formed when the slurry in the tank reaches the level of the bottom of the downcomer. The jet then plunges into this slurry, causing very intense mixing, and the entrained air is sheared into very fine bubbles, and they've been measured at in the order of 300 to 700 microns. The buoyancy of the bubbles acts countercurrent to the fluid flow and results in a very high void fraction, over 50% inside the downcomer. So essentially there's a huge amount of air in that downcomer. So the plunging jet means the bubble particle contact takes place in the downcomer almost exclusively. The high air, high void fraction, and the very small bubbles promotes very high probability of successful bubble particle collisions. The residence time in each downcomer is only several seconds, but what's really important is all of the feed passes through this zone, so there is no short circuiting. Once you've collided your bubbles and your particles, the slurry and the collected particles exit the downcomer into the tank, where the bubbles, complete with particles, rise to the froth layer and are separated from the pulp, which reports to tailings. Moving on, since its first development, the cell has been continuously improved, as with all Glencore technology products. It's improved by using the feedback from the operations, feedback from the metallurgists, and this collaboration still happens today. The achievements over these 30 years of development has increased the cell capacity, made it way more robust and operable. It's increased the operating life of most of the components to in excess of 5 years, and it's made the maintenance simple and can be done with the cell still online. It's been a very good journey. Just showing you a couple of indications of what the cell looks like. Here's a picture of 2 Mark IV B6500 24 coal cells. That means they're 6.5 meters in diameter with 24 downcomers. And the total of treatment rate for these two cells in excess of 4,000 cubic meters per hour. So they treat significant volumes. Another example in this next photo is a much smaller Jameson cell. This is a E2532 with 6 downcomers. That's 2.5 meters by 3.2 meters with 6 downcomers. And this one is a copper gold cell. This cell's recovering around 10 tonnes an hour. The Jameson cell is exceptional at recovering gold due to the high collision efficiency. With the high SG of gold, particles are not able to avoid the bubbles as they might in other technologies because they're pummeled with bubbles as they pass through the downcomer. So how can we most effectively use the Jameson cell in our flotation circuit design? Let's have a look at that. So how can they be incorporated into good flotation design? So what do we need to know about what is a good flotation system? So obviously we need high particle surface liberation. We need to get the surface chemistry of both the particle and the bulk chemistry correct. And we need to maximize the absorption of collector onto the surface to ensure that it floats at a high rate. We also need to ensure that unwanted minerals are depressed. Then we need bubbles and lots of successful bubble particle contacts to get the valuable mineral into the froth phase. The froth phase needs to be stable, where the entrained gangue can be removed by washing the froth without breaking the froth phase. We also need a responsive cell that operators can easily tune and that responds well to plant variations. And of course, we need high maintenance availability. So let's have a look at what the Jameson cell offers. The high stage recovery is a feature of the cell. As mentioned, the Jameson cell can operate anywhere on the grade recovery curve of your circuit. This is because the very high bubble surface area flux due to the small bubbles. You'll see I've provided 3 equations here. The first one indicates the bubble surface area flux, which is a function of the air rate and the bubble size. So if you make the bubble size smaller, your bubble surface area flux will go up. You can also increase your bubble surface area flux by simply increasing the air, but the impact of bubble size is far greater. Flotation happens in a matter of seconds in the downcomer. In addition, due to the small bubbles and the stable froth generated, we can do successful froth washing to remove entrained gangue and accelerate the kinetics of the valuable over the non-valuable. The third equation there shows you the carrying capacity. It's got lots of terms in, but what I want to draw your attention to it is at a given gas rate, particle size and density, the carrying capacity is improved over other technologies simply once again through small bubble size, which is on the denominator. So that's why Jameson cells have exceptionally high carrying capacity, and we can design very high concentrate loadings, and thus more concentrate is produced per square metre of flotation surface area. In addition, scale up is direct. It can be scaled up from a simple 3-stage laboratory flotation test. You can use that test to develop the grade recovery curve for your system, and then the Jameson cell will be true to that curve. Or if you want to use pilot testing, then the scale up is direct because the hydrodynamics in the pilot and the full scale cells are the same. So now that we know why the cells are so effective, where do we use them? To date, the Jameson cells have been most commonly used in cleaner circuits, although they've been successfully installed in many other parts of the circuit. In cleaning, the cells can be installed at the front of the circuit to be used effectively, particularly in brownfield expansions, where using a single Jameson cell can actually double your entire cleaner circuit capacity. Or you can improve your cleaner circuit design, reduce the number of flotation machines by incorporating Jameson cells up front. Our preferred cleaner circuit design generally only has 5 to 7 cells, which is much smaller than a conventional cleaner circuit design. That reduces the footprint, it reduces the need for auxiliary equipment, and hence reduces the capital and operating costs. This in turn results in a circuit that's easy to operate and easy to maintain. When you're retrofitting a circuit with Jameson Cell, it's really important to make sure that you have sufficient bubble surface area and cell surface area to recover the tonnage of concentrate that you want. You need sufficient lip length, and we do that by using cross launders in our design, and we use a good froth washing system to make sure we get high concentrate grades. The cell itself is an easy addition to most layouts due to its small footprint, and in addition, it has very low maintenance requirements, and this can be generally done while the cell is online. So let's now have a look at our preferred cleaner circuit. This flow sheet is what we call our preferred cleaner circuit flow sheet. Essentially, all of the feed has an opportunity to report straight to final con through the first cleaner scalper Jameson Cell. So operations that have very high liberation levels and clean ores can have over 90% of their concentrate removed at this point in the flow sheet in a single cell. The tails from the cleaner scalper reports to a cleaner scavenger, where the circuit purpose is to produce a low-grade discard tailings. The concentrate from the cleaner scavenger cells reports to a second Jameson cell, known as the recleaner, in closed circuit. This allows the circuit to have different cells responsible for producing low tailings and for producing final concentrate grade. All of this final concentrate is recovered from Jameson cells with froth washing, and therefore high concentrate grades can be achieved. Separating the requirement of the recleaner Jameson cell to produce both grade and recovery makes the circuit very simple and very responsive for the operator. If we look at the next slide, we'll see an example of the cleaner circuit performance of one of our preferred cleaner flow sheets. You can see the two curves in this flow sheet. The red curve represents the cleaner scalper cell, and the blue curve represents the cleaner cell. You can see in this case, the cleaner scalper produces a very clean chalcopyrite concentrate at very high stage recoveries. In this case, over 30% concentrate grade is achieved at over 90% stage recovery. So nearly all of the circuit work is done in this single cell. The recleaner cell then operates in closed circuit with the cleaner scavengers, but it operates on a different grade recovery curve because all the remaining particles need to be recovered, and they'll be slow floating fines and all the remaining composites. The operator therefore has an indication of the liberation of his feed, as froth washing's eliminated all the entrained gangue, and therefore the shape of the curve represents how separable his last increment of concentrate is. In this case, the plant tends to operate this cell at between 70 and 80% recovery at 25 to 30% concentrate grade. However, the recleaner Jameson cell, just like any other cell, can be operated at any point on this curve. This circuit achieves between 27 and 30% concentrate grade at a cleaner circuit recovery in excess of 98%. So moving on, you can see that our cleaner circuit design with the Jameson cell offers significant benefits. The cell is simple to operate with no moving parts, no blowers, compressors are required. The reaction times are fast, with the residence time in the downcomer a matter of seconds. The operator can respond quickly to circuit changes, and he can moderate the cell due to its internal recycle system, maintaining constant feed volume. That makes the cell incredibly stable to changes in new feed flow or new feed density. The cell offers a robust and consistent performance over a wide range of operational variables, and the performance of the recleaner Jameson cell allows feedback to the performance of your grinding or regrinding circuit. Did you do a good enough job to get high enough liberation to get high grade? And it's great that your flotation circuit can easily tell you that. Now I'd like to take you through the Mount Isa case study before we cross live to see those cells in operation. Mount Isa treats a chalcopyrite ore and a silica dolomite host with near equal quantities of chalcopyrite and pyrite. It's a pretty simple ore. The Mount Isa flotation flow sheet was essentially unchanged since 1973. The only additions have been the 3 columns, which were added in the late 1980s, and then an upgrade that was conducted in 2002, which added both scavenger and cleaner scavenger capacity with WEMCO tank cells. By 2013, the availability of the original 1973 flotation cells was deteriorating. The new cleaner flotation circuit was constructed and commissioned in 2015, and it replaced the vast majority of the existing cleaner circuit, including the 3 columns that had been installed in the late 80s, the retreat, cleaners and recleaners, all of which were now some 42 years old. The cleaner scavengers installed in the 2002 upgrade, the 2 100 cubic metre WEMCO cells, were retained in the new flow sheet. So you can see here the new cleaner circuit flow sheet consists of 3 Jameson cells, each being 5.4 metre in diameter with 18 downcomers, and the existing 2 100 cubic metre WEMCO cells. So that's a total of 5 cells for the entire cleaner circuit. Both of the first 2 Jameson cells make final concentrate grade, while the third cell receives reground product at a low grade, and therefore it needs more than 1 Jameson cell stage to upgrade it to final concentrate grade. And in this case, the cleaner scavenger tail is final tail. So once again, we've separated the final tail from the need to produce concentrate grade. The duties are separated into different cells. This represents an incredibly simple yet robust circuit that minimises CapEx, OpEx, and improves the operability and maintainability of the cleaner block. So how can this be done in such a small circuit? Well, moving back to the equations we showed on the earlier page, we can see how if you compare these 3 different technologies, the WEMCO cells, the columns, and the Jameson cells, they each have similar surface area. So if you operated each of them at a similar air rate, then you would get different performances simply because of the vastly smaller bubble size in the Jameson cell. So the Jameson cell operates with significantly higher bubble surface area flux and therefore can carry many more tons of concentrate. And as you can see, the residence time is less than a minute. So it's very fast. It's able to recover lots of tons. This is a transformational cleaner circuit design. It means more concentrate can be recovered faster with less flotation area. This means a smaller footprint, lower capital and operating costs. So the metallurgy in this circuit has been excellent, even though this new circuit reduced the cell volumes by 57%, reduced the surface area for flotation by 71%, reduced the lip length by 20%. There was a 70% reduction in residence time and an increase in froth loading of 124%. So this demonstrates the superior performance of the Jameson cell in terms of productivity or more concentrate per metre of installed capacity. Obviously, it's the metallurgical performance that's most critical. So a 2017 survey conducted by the JKMRC shows that the cleaner circuit achieved nearly 98% recovery at a 27% concentrate grade. The recovery by size curve shown here shows that the recovery was in excess of 98% for particles between 212 micron and 8 micron. And the recovery was over 90% for particles between 425 micron and 3 micron. This demonstrates the resilience of the Jameson cell to recover particles across a wide range or the entire size range. So in summary, the case studies presented here today show the improvements that can be made to your circuit through the implementation of Jameson Cell and good cleaner circuit design. Significant reductions in plant footprint, the use of Jameson cells, increasing the concentrate recovered per installed metre of flotation capacity. The intensive bubble particle contact with small bubbles can generate fast reaction times and high carrying capacity. In these examples, rates of over 5.5 tonnes per hour per square metre were demonstrated with very high bubble surface area flux. This means less flotation units are required. Unlike other flotation technologies, all of the feed passes through the reaction zone with no bypass. This results in significantly faster flotation rates and higher unit recoveries. In particular, this gives exceptional recovery to difficult to recover particles such as gold and molybdenum, who often lag in other technologies. The stable froth results in high froth recoveries, high carrying capacities, and acceptable lip loadings. This enables effective froth washing, and it reduces the entrained gangue in the concentrate. So Jameson cell cleaning circuits can achieve high grades and high plant recoveries in a small number of flotation units, saving you CapEx and OpEx. The technology is very innovative and very mature, with over 350 installed units worldwide. So now that I've told you about the Jameson cell, you can hear the story from the operators as we cross live to see the cells in operation in Mount Isa. Thank you very much, Adam and Christian.
Thanks very much, Virginia. As Virginia said, my name's Adam Price. I'm a senior metallurgist from Glencore Technology, and I'm here today with Christian Manuel, who's the senior metallurgist out of the copper concentrator in Mount Isa in Queensland, Australia. So we're obviously here today to have a look live at the Jameson cell in operation, and hopefully to give the audience a bit of a better perspective on how things run in the plant on a day-to-day basis. So just to start off with, I'll run through some of the technical points of the Jameson cell and a little bit about the operation, how it works, and just expand on what Virginia's just spoken to you about. The main feature I want to have a look at today is the downcomers, which we can see in here, which are the main columns sort of running through the middle of the cell here. The reason I really want to talk about the downcomers in particular is because essentially it's where the action happens. It's where all the bubble particle interaction happens, and it's really where the technology comes into its own for the Jameson cell and where it separates itself from other conventional flotation cells. So to give you a picture, you obviously can't see inside these downcomers, but I'll try and give you a visual aspect as much as I can of what happens inside there. Essentially, we'll have some preconditioned feeds that'll come in and feed up at the top of the Jameson cell. We'll have a good look at the top of the cells in a minute. But this feed will be sent to a distributor, which then will evenly divide the flow in amongst the downcomers that are in service. And then right at the top of the downcomer, we have the slurry lens orifice, which is the real key part of the equipment. I'll just get Christian to quickly show you sort of a little bit of a look at slurry lens orifice there while I keep talking. But essentially what will happen here is this will create pressure within the top of that system. The slurry will get turned into a high pressure jet. And this is a real key to the technology. This jet then draws, it creates a vacuum within inside the downcomer. And this gives the operator the ability to draw air from outside on the atmosphere through a valve system, which they can manipulate. So they can obviously draw in as much air or as little air as they want to suit conditions. The slurry jet will then obviously hit a slurry level down lower in the downcomer there and create a mixing zone. This high velocity jet, along with the air in this mixing zone, the high shear through there, is what really creates the fine bubbles. And then what's the key to the technology? These fine bubbles are obviously a lot smaller than your conventional flotation cell, and that creates a large surface area for particles to bind onto, which is where, as I said, it really is different from a conventional flotation cell. These small bubbles, the high void area, is really what creates a really high possibility for particle bubble interaction, and the reason recoveries are really so good with the Jameson cells. So the particle-laden bubbles will then move into the tank cell, which is this main area you can see here, and where your froth really forms. We can see here a nice concentrated copper coming off this Jameson cell. And you've got your variables here that you can change. You can obviously change your froth depth, change your wash water rate, as I mentioned before, you can change your air rates, all to suit your grade recovery curve, where you want to sit, and the duty that the Jameson Cell will perform. So obviously, the other real main advantage here is no agitation on the tank. As you can see, no rotor or anything in the middle there, which creates really low turbulence within the tank. Gives the particles the best possible opportunity of getting to that lip and being recovered into the concentrate. So that's probably the main crux of the operation I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to pass the microphone quickly on to Christian to ask him a few questions. So Christian, thanks for your time, mate. Can I just get you to run through where the Jameson cells sit within the copper concentrator and their main duty?
Yep. So just to give you a bit of background, so these Jameson cells were installed back in September 2015. So this replaced our old setup, which consisted of 7 agitator banks and 3 column cells. So the 7 agitator banks which we used to have consisted of the cleaners, recleaners, and the retreat bank. The purpose of this Jameson cells is basically to clean our concentrate. So they work in series with each other. First of all, we got the scalper over here. The feed is coming from the rougher con, and the scalper produces a big portion of the final concentrate. The tail would report to the middle Jameson cell, which we call the cleaner. So basically, the cleaner would produce the remaining portion of our final concentrate stream, and then its tail would report to the last Jameson cell we have here. So we call this last Jameson cell the cleaner scab Jameson cell. The concentrate it produces would report to the cleaner Jameson cell, and the tail would report to the cleaner scavenger tank cells. As I mentioned earlier, our final concentrate stream is coming from the first 2 Jameson cells, the scalper and the cleaner Jameson cell. Having that the froth washing system makes sure there's minimal entrainment or gang entrainment in our final con. So we're currently targeting 26% copper grade. Basically, we could manage to achieve that by achieving 28% concentrate grade on the scalper and 20% concentrate grade on the cleaner. In terms of capacity, we produce 70 tons per hour of concentrate based on the throughput, that is the head grade and the recovery as well. But if need be, each of these Jameson cell could produce from 40 to 70 tons per hour of con individually. Prior to the installation back in 2015, the overall copper recovery, we were sitting at 1.4% above model. However, after the installation, after the commissioning challenges and were sorted out and the plant stability was achieved, we managed to achieve 1.9% recovery, overall recovery. That's 0.5% recovery increase attributed to the installation of the Jameson cell. We also did a survey last year, a full plant survey with JK MRC. Basically, the results show that the entire cleaner block, which consisted of the 3 Jameson cells plus the 2 tank cells, produced 98.2% recovery in terms of copper. That is with respect to the cleaner block feed.
Excellent, thanks, mate. And can you just give us a quick run through of the day-to-day operations, what the guys would be having a look at every day to control these, and how easy that is to control them?
So basically, day-to-day activities comparing to the previous circuit we have is a lot easier with these Jameson cells. First of all, these 3 Jameson cells are very identical with each other, and mastering how to operate them or for our operators to be familiar with them is quite easy. There's the key parameters that we have to monitor are basically the same, such as the vacuum or air addition, the water addition on the froth washing system, the levels, and the downcomer pressure, and obviously the reagents also that we add. In addition, the smaller footprint is also of benefit because there's easier access for the operators to, I guess, complete their time in a shorter span of time. Basically, what they do is clean the lips, wash the water mats, and check the downcomers. But aside from that, there's minimal, the Jameson cells need minimal attention. As you can see over here, if you want to compare the footprint of our previous cleaner circuit, basically the gap in the flooring, you can see there just a portion of our old cleaner circuit. Basically, the cleaner used to be installed in there and the re-cleaner. And towards the right end over there, we have the 3 columns, and towards the back there, which you might not be able to see, but we have the retreat cells. I could show you around. I could make our way up the downcomers. Basically, as we go up the stairs, we could show you the downcomers area. So the main thing for achieving a stable operation of the Jameson cells is maintaining a downcomer pressure. So this is easily achieved by using the ERM mechanism. The ERM mechanism would make sure that we have a constant level in the pump box, which feeds the recirculation pump, and at the same time feeds the downcomer distributor. And also, it's an important factor to make sure all these downcomers are not blocked. It's very easy to identify if they're blocked anyway. Basically, what it would take is just removing the air intake hose and basically having a peel. If they have a vacuum in them. So in case there's no vacuum, that means the downcomer is blocked. And what it entails to unblock the downcomers is very easy. We just have to close this valve, and then once it's isolated, we just have to undo these 2 flanges, which take about 5 minutes, so it's very easy.
Okay, next slide. And very quickly, can you just run us through the maintenance aspects of the Jameson cell and how that compares a little bit to the conventional cell?
Yep. Again, the maintenance aspect is quite easier as compared to the old setup we had. The old setup we got 7 agitator banks, which consisted of 112 agitators. So we have to maintain all of those, and in case we have to do repairs on one of the agitators, we have to, I guess, put the entire bank offline to be able to access it. As compared to the Jameson cells, there's minimal to non-moving part. So I guess the only moving part would be the pump, but other than that, we've got the stationary downcomers, and that's pretty much it. So in case we have to do some maintenance on the downcomer, if we have to unblock them, just like I've shown you earlier, we can keep the Jameson cell running, and we could just isolate one downcomer and unblock it. And also, in terms of, because this downcomers or the entire Jameson cell, it's self-aspirating. That is, it sucks in air from the atmosphere. We can now run just one blower as compared to our old setup, which we had to run two blowers continuously. Comparing the scheduled maintenance shutdown as well, we make sure that the shutdown is in line with our reline of our sag mills. So basically, the maintenance needed here during plant shutdown is just checking the pumps, the recirc pumps, checking the ERM valve, and the operators will take the opportunity as well to take a look at each downcomer and the air manifold. So if you come to think of it, there's no contribution with the shutdown, or there's no contribution of the Jameson cell with the duration of the shutdown.
Yeah, no worries. So I'd just like to wrap up basically and say thank you very much to Christian for his time and his efforts today, and to the Copper Concentrator for having us on site today.